Jared Polinfronos Photo.com, and this is the Daily Fro for Monday, August 23rd, 2021. The time now is 1:18 in the p.m. The temperature is 84 degrees, if you care, in Philadelphia. This is episode number 384, where I sit down sometime during the day to share what's on my mind with you, and you get to share what's on your mind with me by texting 313-710-9729. That's 313-710-9729. You can text me. People that are on the text thing know that I do text back on occasion and send messages and do all different types of stuff on occasion. So a couple things to talk about, but let's start with the first thing. Do you know how when you call somewhere and they're busy and they pick up the line and they're like, "Thank you for calling so-and-so. Could you please hold?" Well, I just stay silent now, because what if, and then they're like, "Excuse me, can you hold?" I'm like, "Sure." But what if I was like, "No. Are you just going to screw all the other people that you already put on hold and deal with me?" Like it's like when you call a restaurant, they're like, "Please hold." And it happened to me. That's why I'm bringing it up. And the person was like, "Could you hold?" I'm like, well, I mean, why are you even fucking asking me if I can hold? Like, clearly you want me to hold, so just fucking put me on hold. Don't wait for me to be like, "Thanks, sure." Because what if I'm like, "No"? Are you going to deal with me? Anyway, that was just something that was on my mind from the other day. But something's on my mind from today. Ooh, this is such nice paper. Steven, why'd you throw out this paper? Steven's away on vacation. This paper was in my trash, and this is the nice cotton paper. No wonder why it felt so good in my hands. It's from the typewriter. He was cleaning the office, and you can't get him right. Someone has to clean it, because I certainly don't organize. When it comes to me cleaning, my cleaning is I just make piles and move piles from point A to point B. It's like Tetris, and that's all I do. It's just like, oh, I got a pile over here, and then Steven does a great job cleaning everything else because he's really good at that. But I guess he threw out my paper that said, "Dear Nikon," from the typewriter. So this is something that I'm trying to choose words because I don't want to be woked. But people are very soft today. And I'm not talking about the younger generation, but a lot of them are soft. And then, of course, there's exceptions to every rule. But it's just when you try to deal with someone and then they reply in such a way where they were offended by something that they read into themselves. So I'm talking about an email exchange, and I stick to bluntness and just to the points, and people then want to go ahead and try to read into statements or try to understand nuance and tone in an email. You can't understand tone and nuance in an email. So stop getting into your own head and being like, they said this. What did they really mean? And do you know how you know what they really meant? You call them on the phone if you're confused. And you're like, "Hey, I got your email. I don't want to misconstrue anything. What were you getting at when you said X?" Instead of replying back and being like, "I'm offended that you said that. How dare you? You triggered me." Like bullshit like that. So instead of jumping to the nth degree, I just get on the phone with someone. "Hey, I got your email. I'm not sure. I don't want something to get lost in translation. Can you explain to me what you were getting at?" And then that's how I guess adults do things. Or not even adults, because not all adults do, but that's how reasonable people deal with things. Is they reasonably pick up the phone and they're like, "Hey, I don't want to misunderstand anything, and I don't want to. Let's just deal with it. Let's have a call." Because people are going to be less assholey on the phone than they are when they're keyboard warriors. When people can hide behind their keyboard. What was the term? I got rid of the email from today that was pissing me off because I didn't want to see it in my email box anymore, because mentally it just pisses me off when you have to deal with people in a certain way and they just jump to the nth degree for no particular reason. And so the softness is just, please don't be soft, really. And there's nothing wrong with bluntness either. If you're blunt and to the point, fine, that's great. It's like I don't do niceties in emails. I know I probably should be like, "Hey, hope you had a great weekend." by the way, I want to, it's like, no, hey, fuck the great weekend thing, because I'm not full of shit. Like, I don't want to just say something and be full of shit, but people are like, oh, you need to do that because you need to have small talk in a meeting before you start getting to the point. Why? Can we just please get to the point? We can get it over with much quicker. Why don't we just get to the point? Fuck small talk. It's just bullshit just leading up to the inevitable anyway. So be like, hey, all right, let's talk. Here's what we got. This is what I'm thinking. What are you thinking? Great. Move on. Hey, I didn't understand what you were saying. Could you please explain it to me so I can hear you or see you? Or in this whole idea that with Zoom calls that people will sit there with their cameras off. I mean, I have a bad face because you can see, like, if someone says something, I make a face, but I still leave my camera on because it's just too easy to hide behind everything. And you also need to be able to see facial expressions to be able to read people. How did they take it? Oh, you just said something? Does anybody have a question? This is like when I was on with that high school last year, and the teacher's like, well, I'm not allowed to, I'm not allowed to ask the students to turn on their cameras. I'm like, I will. And when I did, nobody turned their cameras on. But look, even if you're in high school, I don't give a fuck. Turn your goddamn fucking camera on. Fuck, fine, I'll say it. Goddamn camera on. I was trying to censor saying goddamn for the people to get upset with that, and then I said fuck, so fuck it. God damn it. Turn on your camera. Like, if you're a student, how do you know that someone's paying attention? And if you can't read the room because you can't read people's faces or gestures or whatever, then how do you educate and how do you form certain thoughts? You know, because if someone's struggling and you see they make that face, you can go, hey, like, what are you, what could I do? What am I doing wrong here? What could I do to make you understand this better, right? Where are you lost? Let's discuss this. And the whole point of this whole thing is that the softness is just bad, or that when you call someone out for something and they get offended when they're called out and then turn around and then bring up some other bullshit and try to say that, because of this, I was like this, and I can't believe you said this to me. I'm offended by that. They just flip it around on you because they can't ever be wrong. And it's not about being right and wrong. I don't care. I mean, I do care, but when you stick to the facts and you have discussions and you can be upfront with people and they can be blunt with you and you can be blunt with them, you just get shit done much quicker with less confusion than trying to beat around the bush. The more you beat around the bush, the more confusions there are going to be. And if you try to understand nuance and what someone was getting at in an email, that's a problem. You can't subjective reality something. Subjective reality is like the only thing I got out of this one therapist, other than he asked me if I was gay every week. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I mean, after 6 weeks of asking, I think he was actually hitting on me, to be honest with you, because he told me all about his gay escapades, which is great. Great. He's like, I've been gay before. I had a boyfriend. I'm like, that's awesome. Why do you keep asking me? I've told you, not that there's anything wrong with that, but no, I'm not gay. So could you kindly shut the fuck up and stop asking me every fucking week like you're trying to dig into something that's deep down inside? If I was gay, I would tell you I'm fucking gay. But I'm not. And it doesn't fucking matter. Stop asking. I stopped going. I didn't like therapists. But anyway, the only thing I really got out of it was the subjective reality. So I would say something and someone would take it a different way. And then I'd get upset. But then he was like, look, you understand something the way that you said it because that's the way you understand it. That doesn't mean that someone's going to perceive it the same exact way that you intended it. So choose your words properly. Think about what you're saying. And if someone's confused, have a discussion about it. But you can't get upset if someone didn't understand what you were saying. But then on the flip side, I like to make sure that now at this point, it's like, I'll explain something or say something, and then I just want to reiterate that we're on the same page so that, hey, could you explain to me again what you received from me so that I know that we're on the same page? Because the last thing you want to do is go down the wrong path for someone's working for 2 days on something and then you come back and you're like, well, no, that's not what I wanted. They're like, but you said this. I'm like, but that's not what I meant. And they're like, but I thought you meant this. And so instead of the I thought, you should never say I thought you meant this. You should say, hey, so there's no confusion. is this what you meant? Right? And I know it's not easy, and everybody's afraid to step on toes or afraid to just question things, but you got to question things. And you can't get offended if someone questions something. Or if someone says something, why are you making such a deep pull that I just when people jump to the nth degree before that, like, it's like jump to conclusion, Matt. You just literally jump to the worst conclusion there ever could have been without asking or without discussing or without figuring something. Anyway, that's what I wanted to talk about. I don't want to just go in circles, but the moral of the story is if you don't understand something that someone said, ask them. Call them on the phone. Don't flip out until it's time to flip out. And you could, I had this happen once with that one person on the internet who said that I plagiarized their video script and called me out in an article by name, pointed things out, and the people correct. My air conditioning just came on, so if you hear a whirl, it's going to be that. And then was the comment section lit up with, "Hey, dude, you're wrong. It wasn't even me." And the guy still didn't pull back on what he said. So what did I do? I called his studio and left a message to get a phone call back. Then the guy called me, and some of you may know this from the past, and the guy called me because if you're going to accuse me of something, then fucking accuse me of something. How am I supposed to defend myself if you just go out in public and say something without ever checking with me to say, to confront me first, to set a story straight? And so when the guy got on the phone, I'm like, "Hey, you got anything to say to me?" That's what I said. He's like, "Oh, I said everything." I can't even do the fucking British accent. "I said everything I wanted to say publicly." I'm like, "Well, I'm right here right now. If you have an accusation to throw at me, throw it at me, and let's discuss it." So he threw the accusation, and I said, "I hear what you're saying, but that's not what happened. And no, I did not plagiarize your script." And he's like, I don't believe you." I'm like, "Well, fuck you then, because there's nothing we can do here." And that's when I ended the phone call. I'm like, "Well, I'm sitting here in front of you. I'm telling you, telling you how it is, and you're telling me you don't believe me. So I guess we're done here. So fuck you. I tried." And that's really what it got down to, was fuck you. And if you read what the accusation was, you'd sit there and be like, are you fucking kidding me? You're claiming that you own that statement you just said? The truth of the matter is, never plagiarized the guy. Never saw what he was talking about before I made a video. So when did I make that video? 2012. I made a sales video for the beginner guide to getting out of auto. And to me, basic sales and fundamentals of selling was this. Let me see. How did I do it? Oh, I'm trying to think because it's been a long time since I recited it. Are you not happy with your results? Is your something like, is your camera holding you back? Are you not happy? Oh, fuck it. I'm pulling it up right now. froknowsphoto.com/guide. Let me see what it said. Photo.com. Oh, are you a new photographer? Have you just picked up your first DSLR mirrorless camera and you're not happy with the results? Well, I created an all-new fucking 3-hour video guide that's going to run you through the basics and fundamentals. This is me just spitting off the top of my head now. Run you through the basics and fundamentals. And guess what? You get to go on 4 photo shoots with me, so it's kind of like you're my assistant. I mean, that's exactly what it was. And so the guy was accusing me, and I got him on the phone. And I'm just gonna go right for it when I talk to someone. Like, if you have an accusation, let's discuss it. And I will tell you whether I did do that or I didn't do that. And so it was just asinine. So anyway, I'm gonna go pee now. I have to pee. I just had lunch, so the water has gone through my body, and it's time to pee. So anyway, this has been episode number 384, where I sit down sometime during the day, share what's on my mind with you. If you'd like to share what's on your mind with me, text me, 313-710-9729. I thank you very much for listening, guys. The time now is 1:32 in the p.m. This is episode, I already said that. It's Monday, the 23rd of August. Jared, PullinFrontosPhoto.com. See ya.